we're going to go right to the phone calls. The number to dial, 888 Ask Hank. Stephen first in Overland Park, Kansas. Hi, Stephen.
Hi. Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, good. My question is, in Genesis, God, when he had the flood, why didn't he destroy the sea creatures as he did with the land animals and humans, as he described in Genesis 6:7? Now, I kind of kept thinking about it all day, and what I began to think about now is maybe it's an illustration of God's sovereignty and his view on election, doctrine of election, just as he can choose who he decides to be saved. Maybe this is an illustration of these animals that he chose to put on that boat, on the ark, and even the sea creatures that he chose not to even destroy. Could that be an illustration of
Well, there are likely a lot of creatures that God did not destroy, but you're absolutely right in saying that he did not destroy the sea creatures. But the biblical text is not designed to communicate whether the flood was global with respect to the earth or universal with respect to humanity. I think that debate is ultimately settled by a proper reading of the book of nature. And you have to remember that civilization was largely confined to the Fertile Crescent at that time. So we need not automatically presume that the floodwaters covered the globe. For example, by way of illustration, when the Bible tells us that the whole world sought audience with Solomon to hear the wisdom God had put in his heart, very few people would suppose that this includes Aborigines from Australia or indigenous people from the Americas. So one thing we can be certain, the text of Scripture, both Old and New, communicates the reality of a great flood in which only a few people, 8 in all, were saved. But the text itself says nothing whatsoever about destroying the sea creatures, nor, again, as I said, is there any warrant for suggesting that God destroyed everything, because we simply don't know from a biblical standpoint that the flood was universal or global with respect to the earth. We know that it was universal with respect to humanity.